Hello and welcome. I'm Deborah Larson, and I'm Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Okay, no one has given me a clap before. You guys are super great. And so yay! And while I'm off script, I must say that we also have the super greatest marshal ever today, Professor Altier, there he is. Oh my gosh. He's got us all beat. All right, so I'm gonna get back on script. You've been super. And what I'd like to do is say, on behalf of the trustees of the California State University and the faculty, staff, and students of Chico State, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 commencement for California State University, Chico. One more scream. In this most unusual time, we have taken every precaution necessary as outlined by our state and county health professionals. While we are seated socially distanced, we may all remove our masks. But graduates, please put your mask back on when you rise to cross the stage. You will be told when you may remove that mask right before you come across the stage. Okay, got it? All right. We begin this ceremony with an acknowledgement that we are mindful that Chico State stands on the lands that are originally occupied by the first people of this area, the Mechoopda. And we recognize their distinctive spiritual relationship with this land and the water that runs through campus. We are humbled that our campus resides upon sacred lands that once sustained the Mechoopda people for centuries. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Jordi Beretta, majoring in musical theater, who will sing the national anthem. Please rise. Thank you, Jordi. Please be seated. It is now my great honor to introduce the president of our university, Dr. Gail Hutchinson. In her years here at Chico State, first as faculty, chair, and dean, and now as our president for nearly 5 years, President Hutchinson has shown consistent support for our undergraduate and graduate students. President Hutchinson, we appreciate you and all that you do to welcome, embrace, engage, and encourage our students. Thank you.
Good evening, class of 2021. Are you ready for graduation? Oh, class of 2021, are you ready for graduation? So greetings and welcome to our family and friends who are joining us in this celebration virtually. Today we gather to celebrate the achievements of our persistent and extraordinary class of 2021 as they take their place in distinguished company of university-educated scholars. Their resilience and perseverance under the most difficult of circumstances serves as a source of inspiration for myself and the entire Chico State community. Before I begin my remarks, I'd like to introduce the platform party on stage. So I'm going to begin to my right, Dr. Deborah Larson, who is our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Next to her is Dr. Betsy Boyd, Chair of the Academic Senate and faculty in the College of Agriculture. On the second row is Dr. Jun Unruh, Dean of the College of Agriculture. Dr. David Hasenzahl, Dean of the College of Natural Sciences. And your Associated Student President, as well as a graduate of Agricultural Science and Education, Bree Holbert. Graduates, we're here to celebrate you and all that you have achieved over the course of your studies. Many of you have dreamed of this moment for a long time, and you have not traveled this path alone. Your parents, guardians, significant others, family members, and friends have supported you all along the way. They saw great qualities in you, as we do, and they have helped you achieve your dreams. Let's take a moment and with real loud enthusiasm, because they're listening virtually, let's give them a wave, a salute, a cheer of gratitude to share that moment with them. Are you ready? Let's say thanks to your family and friends out there. I also say thanks to them for their devotion to how well they've devoted their time and their support to you for your education. You know, it is my hope that you will take the education that you received here at Chico State and continue to live our time-honored values. Be an independent thinker. Be an engaged citizen. Develop your own views and voice based on your education, and use that voice and use those views to positively impact the world around you. This does not mean that you have all the answers, and I know you understand how important it is to acknowledge differences of opinion and learn to work across divides to discover new ways of being, living, and thinking. This inclusive attitude is certainly something that has been a part of your undergraduate studies here at Chico State. And at Chico State, one moment please, as the train goes by. Let's hear it for the train. So to continue, this inclusive attitude is certainly something that has been a part of your undergraduate studies. Chico State embraces diversity and works hard to create community and connectedness. We are proud of our culture of caring and a sense of place that it instills in all of our graduates. We are the Wildcat family. And during, that's okay, we can hoop and holler for that one. During your time with us, it is my hope that you have learned to speak courageously and confidently, take risks, admit to when you're wrong, and be willing to fail. Because it is through failure that we learn and solve problems. It's through failure that we succeed next time. Graduates, you are acutely aware that you're entering a world at a time of deep uncertainty, and anxiety. There are great challenges and great prospects for your generation. How do we mitigate and prevent catastrophic events like the Camp Fire and other historic fires? How do we respond to the progress and collective will of a nation to demand racial justice and equality? How do we feed a population expected to grow to almost 10 billion in decades ahead? What steps can we take to live more sustainable lives and build a more resilient future? You know, the pandemic has shown us that we are all connected and vulnerable in more ways than perhaps we've ever imagined. How we respond to adversity truly matters, and lives depend on it. I want to take a moment and share a quote by National Youth Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman. From her piece, The Miracle of Morning, while we might feel small, separate, and all alone, our people have never been more closely tethered. The question isn't if we will weather this unknown, but how we will weather this unknown together. Graduates, your skills, your wisdom, your values, and experience are needed more today than ever. Through your academic journey in search of knowledge, you have been tested and you have learned to be resilient. You have been challenged and have sharpened your ability to think critically and make informed decisions. Above all, you have succeeded, and now you realize that you are strong, wise, and ready. Let's be clear, graduates. The future and reality we face today is not the reality we lived when you started classes here at Chico State a few years ago. Life has changed for all of us. You have the distinction of graduating at a pivotal moment in history. So what happens next? What decisions will you make? What contributions will you make? Your education and your beliefs are foundational. Now you will build on top of that carefully layered foundation, and there has never been a more important time to make a difference. Graduates, when we're finished today, you will hold in your hand the key to the future that may have seemed unreachable not so long ago, and you will join the ranks of more than 172,390 others who are graduates of Chico State, the second oldest and one of the most innovative campuses in the country's largest public university system, the California State University. Graduates, the world is yours to make better. A college degree equips you to respond to changes in yourself and the world around you, and inevitably, those changes and challenges that occur over time. Today, we celebrate you. Today, we take pride in your accomplishments. We are immensely proud of what you have done, and even more, we look forward to what you will do in the future. It is now my high honor to introduce to you Dr. Elizabeth Betsy Boyd, Professor of Agriculture and Chair of the Academic Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, President Hutchison. Well, good evening, graduates. Well, my name is Betsy Boyd, and I am the chair of the Academic Senate. But what does that mean? It means that in this role, I have the honor of speaking to you on behalf of the faculty, students, staff, and administrative representatives of the entire university. However, as a faculty member in the College of Agriculture and first-gen graduate, I also have the honor of speaking to you from my heart when I say, congratulations. Okay, so just like all of you, when I found out that we were gonna have these in-person ceremonies for Chico State, I was like, oh my goodness. Well, I wondered, what could I possibly say that would matter to students who just lived through some of the greatest challenges in local, national, and worldwide history? Right? As a scholar, I sought information, of course. And 3 questions rose to the top of my list. First was, how did you continue a degree online when some of you maybe never imagined taking a single online course? Why would you continue to work toward a degree when the world around you seems so uncertain? And what does it really mean to graduate in the middle of a pandemic and great social unrest? So to the first question, how did you do it? And from my research, I found it took a family of wildcat professors who rose to the occasion, who made the best of a shift to online by developing courses in a new format. It took a wildcat family of staff who advised, listened, and offered time and solutions to the obstacles that you faced. It took a wildcat family of students who, you were all primed for this moment, and you already knew all the ways to connect despite social distance. And it took one VIP, you, because you could and you did. You found a way to learn, adapt, and persevere. But why did you do it? Well, research on this identified that it's because your education is, in fact, essential. Because your professors and advisors and friends and family cared and wouldn't let you down. Because you needed to do it for someone, but most of all, you needed to do it for yourself. So what does it mean to earn a diploma at this moment in time? It means that you are one in over 45 million bachelor's degrees awarded in the United States since the history of the universities. You are one in among these millions with a very, very special degree that signifies to the world that you looked adversity straight in the eye and responded with courage, knowledge, perseverance, strength, wisdom, generosity, and compassion. It means that you are up for any challenge in life. You are globally prepared, civically minded, resilient, primed for social and climate justice. And most of all, you have become a true Chico State wildcat. So I ask you for a little bit of privilege here because I have you all in person. And as the last professor who is in front of you lecturing to you, one last time, I'd like to see you raise your real, not virtual, hands and put them together if you, Wildcats, are ready to graduate. Congratulations. And now it is my extreme and honored pleasure to introduce to you Brianna Holbert, candidate for the degree in Agricultural Science and Education for a graduate's reflection on this day and most momentous moment. Congratulations again.
Good evening, class of 2021. How we feeling? Yes. So, y'all, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I heard this pastor on the podcast ask a congregation of churchgoers this really silly question. Have we ever looked up at the stars and tried to count each one, each and every star? Now think back the last time you looked up at the stars. The dark, expansive sky, hundreds of thousands, even more twinkling lights that just took your breath away. Now imagine counting them, painstakingly counting each and every star, making sure you didn't miscount, lose track, or forget what number of star you were on. Impossible, right? Okay, for our ag majors out there, what about this example? Say we get a call up one day and our professor's like, yo, meet me out at the school farm. So we head out to the school farm and we find them in the middle of a huge field right off Hegan Road. They proceed to ask us to count each blade of grass in a field. Now, I know after taking Selena's forage class, I probably could calculate the number of pounds per acre to get that and somehow make it work, but it's impossible. All right, for our natural science folks, I'm sure we have some expertise in counting things at the molecular level, which bless you, because I know I could not. Your girl cannot stand at a petri dish that long to count all those molecules, okay? That's a lot. And I'm sure there's a machine out there that can help us, but it is absolutely impossible to count that many small things. You know, when I was a freshman at Chico State, I tried to do this. No, not count molecules or blades of grass or stars in the sky. I tried to make each moment count by counting each moment. I would constantly ask myself, am I doing enough? I would run from opportunity to opportunity, make sure I didn't have FOMO or fear of missing out. And when I did, I oftentimes pushed away the opportunity that I actually did get to have in hopes to go find another opportunity that was worth counting because I missed out on that, whether it was in my control or not. Class of 2021, I'd like to argue that none of us are any different than freshman Bree. Yes, we've all tried to count the stars in the sky. We've all tried to count the blades of grass in a field. We've all tried to count the molecules, the cells, the nervous system. We have all tried the impossible task of making life count by counting each moment. But I'd like to share with y'all today that there's a reason for that. And we all know it. Y'all, we've had fires, floods, a global pandemic, virtual school, and a host of personal issues that stem off of all of those things that might have caused us some sadness, some sorrow, some loss. Again, that FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm sure all of us can sit here and recall a moment where we were like, dang, I feel like this part of my college career was kind of robbed from me. I don't want to count that. Y'all, today my message isn't to dampen the mood, and it isn't to make us feel like any of our experiences here at Chico State weren't amazing, incredible, because they absolutely were. Actually, that's the point of my speech today. You see, each moment in our lives truly does count, and we can't sit around counting each moment, even the moments that we didn't get to experience. Because while we're doing that, we're sitting there in a moment already. And you know, y'all, each moment is like stars in the sky. They're gorgeous. They're like blades of grass in a field. They're unique. They are like molecules in a system. Y'all, if we unpack any small moment that we've had this year, there are dozens of revelations that have led us to be the person that we look in the mirror at every single day and say, dang, girl, or whoever you are. You are not the person I thought you were 4 years ago, but I couldn't be prouder of that, let me tell you. Okay? Yes. Y'all, so let's not let this moment we have right here pass. Let's give ourselves a huge round of applause. We've graduated, y'all. We're here. Yes. Keep the applause going for our families, y'all. Don't let them miss it. Keep it up for our friends, our staff and faculty. We can't hear you. Keep it up for your friends, your peers. Give them a little hoop and holler. Yes, absolutely. These mentors, these advisors, these friends, these families, these peers, they have helped us to make each moment count without counting each moment. You see, they have truly made us so many opportunities that we have collected our whole lives possible. And I know I will be forever indebted for them for the rest of my life that I'm on this earth. They're the ones that have lifted us up, supported us, and put these last few years into perspective that got us here today. We are so grateful for all of you, and we love you. Thank you. So, to the class of 2021, the next time we go to try to make each moment count by counting each moment, I hope we think back to our graduation. I hope we remember the moment we crossed this stage. I hope we remember the moment where we heard someone laugh. We felt joy in our heart, those smiles on those faces, and the feeling of being at peace with what we've just done. We don't need to count each moment to make it count. We just need to be here, present, and take it in for what it is. Yeah. This is important, yes. So class of 2021, we made this moment of many. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for making this moment count. I love you all. Congratulations to the class of 2021. You guys are awesome. Thank you for making this moment count. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Wow. Thank you, Bree. I'm Dave Hassensall. I'm the Dean of the College of Natural Sciences. President Hutchinson, Provost Larson, I want to introduce the candidates for degrees from the Colleges of Agriculture and Natural Sciences. Faculty marshals, will you please present the candidates for degrees?
Gavin Martinez. Jose Arambula. Jacob DeVore. Alina Jucola. Jocelyn Evangelista.
Well done, Jocelyn. You got it. Well done.
Juan Diaz Flores.
Good job, Juan.
Charlotte Rose Pitt.
Good job, Charlotte.
Amber Nicely. Sarah Westland Dunn.
Well done, Sarah.
Daisy Karina Gomez. Jacqueline Crystal Gomez. Leslie Garcia. Arturo Martinez.
Reed William Pritchard.
Taylor Richardson. Amy Cantalan. Omar Jimenez. Mariah Harper. Sequoia Burleson Ross. Eduardo Amezquita.
Ryan Joseph Wallstrom.
Catherine Colleen Wharton. Nolan Arthur McEwen. Shyal Arpana Singh. Isabel Cookston. Samantha Joyce Gillis. Paige Mackenzie Barker. Sydney Starkey. Hannah Barton. Sienna Madeline Acosta. Stephanie Marie Rios. Kristen Savannah Palladian. Angelica Haro. Lizandra Nereda Ruiz. Jorge Christian Lopez. Hannah Joy Hillis. Matthew Butcher. Matthew Robert Konopka. Colton Matthew Watson. Andrea Villegas Fregoso. Melissa Diaz. Robin Morgan Turner. Anna Wines. Bryce Reese Morgan. Christian Pettyjohn. Cole Elizabeth Toohey. Kim T. Huynh. Adam Michael Dollison. Sydney Paige Larson. Alessandra Isela Gamon. Melissa Danae Murray. Shanna Rose Rindle. Sari Silva. Kathleen Elliott Carter. Stephanie Alvalar. Kyler Faith McFall. Mary Pagel. Taylor Van Pelt. Danica Nicole Sanders. Lilo Arakelian. Laura Manrique Aranzazu. Rose Mary Chasen.
Wyatt Dylan Amarell. Sheridan Robert Cusel. Catherine Rosemary Goff. Gerardo Licea. Lane Pearson.
Hayden Reyna.
Mackenzie Halstead. Chloe Grace Bristow. Hunter Grace Andrade. Mary Nicole Holbert. Jackson Murdoch Becker. Madison Redding. Taylor Zanoni.
Alex Anderson.
Jacqueline Marie Kesting.
Marcos Rodriguez Navarro. Chase Jones. Giovanni Mojica. Rebecca Marie Guadiana. Jade McElroy. Olivia Villarreal. Brady Patrick Hicks. Maura Blackburn. Heriberto Perez Ibarra. Brooke Kojima.
Bree Holbert.
Cassie Lynn Austin. Sarah Noel Laughlin. Alyssa Hardesty. Natalie Soto. Erica Gutierrez. Elizabeth Simeon. Sierra Loudon.
Elizabeth Rose Enke. Autumn Hausman. Tessa Greeno. Adrian Zamora Melgoza.
Anna Lindsay Waldern. Sean Patrick Alex. Gregor Michael Jones. Maxwell Clare.
Clarice Dalton.
Kylie Magnuson.
Lizeth Mendoza. Taylor Elise Morrison. Sofia Ritachka. Brandon Brazil.
Madeline Mooney. Alexander Vina. Jillian Douglas.
Zachary David Flores.
Matthew Nascimento.
Joseph Price McManus. Riley Stephen Marsh. Royce Edward McPhee Beha. Javier Garcia Romo.
Ariel Murillo.
Samuel John Fletcher.
Brandon Reese. Jacob Timothy Kuhn. Jacob Lockey.
Lapreet Kaur. Gursimran Kaur. Mariana Tan. Haley Strong Bethards. Linda Elena Navarro. Gina Pham.
Cindy Cuevas.
Jessica Natalie Batista.
Vivian Gallegos. Victoria Eugenia Trejo de Esparra. Alan Benavides.
Taylor Nelson. Carla Perez Mendoza. Manuel Lopez. Megan Bella Sullivan. Emily Claire Groth. Cheyenne Renee Mitchell. Carissa Wages. Dominique N. Mantle. Kayla Tofty. Allison Griffin. Cara Audrey Lipke. Julie Brown. Haley Neary, Hannah Neary, Caitlin Forrester, Courtney Jacobson, Jillian Rhodes Albert,
Christian Edward Foley Penrose, Katya Amelie Bonus, Gabriela Oriana Grau, Natalie Julia Inning, Ann Taylor Nguyen, Susie Stevens, Carly Cronquist, Jessica Jordanengo,
Amanda Wellborn, Emily Mahelis, Shelby Burdett,
Savannah Suzanne Jekyll.
Haley Madison Huber,
Ted James Gailey,
Anthony Joseph Sawyer,
Jessica Huelin Godinez, Mariana Tapia Jimenez, Hannah Christina Wren,
Dennis Jackson, Kimberly Jane Dockery, Jenilyn Beard, Brooke Bridges, Dominic John Chucci, Morgan Woodard, Brittany Field, Andrea L. Laurie, Brian Smith, Jessica Ray Eldridge, Courtney Dominguez, Emily Elizabeth Tabata, Emily Dalton Thornton, Emilio Daniel Barba, Sarah Elizabeth McCormick, Kylie Brooke Herman, Acamio Rogan, Amran Chauhan, Amritpreet Dosanjh, William John Royal, Susanna Zenaida Uribe, Joseph Grundy, Haley Willie. Connor Shadaman. Natalie C. Krisa. Nicholas Blackwell. Shay Frazier.
Axel Rojo Salazar. Jesus Barba. Christian Mendoza. Lauren Martinez. Jessica Galan. Melissa Laranaga. Brittany Kamvangsa.
Kaya Irene Harnitz. Kaylin Allen. Michael Golden. Jessica Nicole Paul.
Melissa Brocky.
Lauren Freihofer.
Darian Poleman Moreno.
Ryan Thomas Phelan.
Nicholas William Hunt.
Madison McCarty. Megan Thomas. Heather Kuykendall. Gianna Lagorio.
Kimberly McLaughlin. Samantha Romero. Jacqueline Rodriguez. Catherine Garcia Flores.
Yulissa Maldonado. Alondra Novoa Martinez. Elizabeth Aquino. Cheyenne Waters. Diana Reyes. Vanessa Abigail Hernandez.
Katia Godinez. Janet Rodriguez. Denisha Chandni Mani. Sara Medrano. Christopher Sean Walker. Jesus Alberto Garcia. Perla Yuriet Braz Montes.
Mira Reginado. Hana Koyama. Eduardo Ventura.
Catherine Mifsud. Brianna Fernandez. Zaida Hernandez.
Janie Ford. Jessica D. Chinka. Cody Hughes.
Jocelyn Haurigi. Dejeuner Marie Gira. Ryan Coelid. Prabjot Kaur. Arshwinder Kaur. Sarah McGee.
Mohammed Shazeb Khan.
Cortland Cedric Burke. Emma Este. Annie Robison. Jessica Ann Ibbotson. Madeline Haber. Crystal Trujillo Val. Stacy Lynn Coleman.
Eduardo Edesa. Jessica Behar. Paulina A. Cortez. Emily Evans. Madison Grace Owens. Carrie Magny.
Christina Perez. Yamileth Velasquez.
Jose Guadalupe Torres. Alejandro Vera. Eric Roman Mendoza. Omar Cervantes Ortiz. Marco Fernando Giron. Samuel Wences. Sammy Elizondo. Trent Avila. Thomas Raymond Clark. Cameron Smith. Kevin Keenan. Matthew J. Hammond.
William Askey. Aaron Altier. Kelly Nicole Clack. Melanie Scannell. Hannah Grace Fippen.
Thomas Avila. Griffin Dees. Sean Patrick Conley Jr. Stephen C. Doris.
Jocelyn Peabody.
Katie Michelle Farnsworth. Vincent Anthony Munoz.
Casey Becker. Abby Michaela Jones. Rebecca Jordan Boyle. Seema Shaku. Julissa Trujillo. Xenia Valdivia.
Haley Boynton. Alexandria Lynn Tucker.
Taylor Georgina Bailey Lustian. Hope Ann Morgan.
Jamie Arteaga. Amanda Margaret Prentice. Alexandra Renee Nissan. Jerica Hervey. Prentice Verlington Hitt. Timothy Michael Young.
Simranjit Kaur. Simranjit Atwal.
Claudia Guadalupe Guzman.
Monica Carter.
Rebecca Jasmine Curiel. Jessica Espinosa. Zachary Meisel. Simran Kaur. Elizabeth Haiti Argueta. Letzi Abigail Maldonado. Saribel Castro.
Monica Lopez. Emily Jean Bradley. Natalie Kinney.
Anna Elizabeth Weiss. Sarah Mei Mei Fong. Carly Starkey. Joel Michael Liapis. Alana Hyman. Patrick Johnson. Kendall Lynn Block. Nirvana T. Almada. Kelly Ewing. William Goodwin Dowell. Sophia Sussman. Kieran Rao. Celia Todd. Victoria Karina Miranda Perez.
Sarai Barcenas Silva.
Myra Gonzalez. Ezekiel Guzman Zurita.
Cecilia Monguia.
Corey Audrey Johnson.
Amy Ellingson. Angela Marlene Sigala.
Gladys Rivera.
Harinder Kaur Riat.
John Sanchez. Ruby Galicia. Kevin Felice. Madeline Page Lloyd. Tia Peck. Juan Antonio Dominguez. Derek Deek. Laura Maria Puentes. Eric Estrada. Shane Brady. Rebecca Jean Martinez. Nathan Carter Lopez.
Almost there. Well done. We have a couple more things to do before you're officially graduated. So we're going to just be patient, wait for folks to get back to their seats. But in the meantime, for this next part, which is so very important, will you please make sure that your tassel is on the right side of your mortarboard? Should be on the right side. I think if we kind of encourage with a round of applause for a job well done, our graduates will get back to their seats. So way to go. And the moment you've been waiting for. You know, in a normal year, we would be hugging you and you may be throwing your caps in the air and dancing and hugging one another. But during the pandemic, we can't do it. We have to remain socially distant. So we're going to rise together, and I'm going to say a few words that you've worked incredibly hard to hear. After that, the faculty marshals will lead you out of the stadium by row and into the world of graduates of the California State University, Chico. So please follow those instructions closely. Okay, are you ready? Degree candidates, please rise. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the California State University, I confer upon each of you the bachelor's degree appropriate to the course of study to which you have pursued, with all the attendant rights, responsibilities, and distinctions pertaining thereto. Graduates, you may now move your tassels to the left. And to the fierce and extraordinary class of 2021, and on behalf of the entire Chico State community, with joy for the moment and hope for the future, I offer each and every one of you a heartfelt and hearty congratulations.
Class of 2021, congratulations. Your faculty marshals will instruct you on how to leave the stadium.